this quite large lady that was injured in the war, and she had a handicap, and she would take 3, sometimes 4 steps, and then she would turn to the right and kind of crouch over, and her head would bob, and she'd breathe and rest, and then she'd get going again, and then she'd do the same thing, 3 or 4 steps, and stop and look to the right. And that's the way she traveled. She was injured in the war that caused the problems, you know. Well, that day we're out on this street with what we call street boards. They were like a big easel. I mean, we had like a maybe 3x5 board that was on these 2 easels that went across. We had pictures of Christ appearing to the Nephites at Zarahemla, and we had handouts and stuff that we gave. Well, we were standing there. There was 4 of us at the street board, because when you get talking to somebody, you got to have somebody else to be there to, you know, because you broke into little groups doing the discussions. And I watched this lady coming, and I was counting the squares and what she was doing. And I told my companion, I says, hey, we got to move this. We got to go either one that way or 2 more this way. What are you talking about? Yeah, just do it, okay? So we moved the board so that, counting the steps, so that when she would stop and look to the right, she would see Jesus appearing, you know. Well, son of a gun, she started to take a couple extra steps, and I stepped out in front of her to stop her, and she stopped, and then she looked to the right, and she saw that, and I started talking to her, and I was standing in front so she couldn't go any further, and her name was Sister Merchant, and I gave her a flyer about the Christ revelation, her appearance, and in it was a mail-in card for a Book of Mormon. So if we didn't get that card back from that lady, she didn't want to give us her address right there. We try to get that first, but then if we can't, we just hand it. You know, the ones we hand out, we hardly ever get anything back, you know. And the ones that'll give you the stuff, sometimes it's a phony address, and sometimes they just say no at the door, you know. Mm-hmm. So we get this one, and we tracked her out, and she opened the door, and I just was like, oh man, I can't believe this, you know, it was so great. And she read the Book of Mormon during all the discussions. She'd stay up at night reading it. And I had just got a new companion in between the street board and when we were doing discussions. And I didn't quite like a couple of things he did. Like he'd say, well, did you read the Book of Mormon when we left you? And yeah, I read some of it. And he'd go, oh, well, what do you think about the part when Brigham Young discovered the Great Salt Lake? You know, stuff like that. And I'm going, you know, that's really inappropriate, right? And so he did that to this poor lady, you know, after a couple of discussions my other companion had, and then we got this new guy, right? And I said, this gal is good. She's reading the Book of Mormon. They don't ever read them. I go, no, I'm telling you. So she welcomes us in. We say that. He says that line to her. Well, what do you think about the part about Brigham Young discovering the Salt Lake Valley? And she goes, Elder, have you read the Book of Mormon? And he says, I've read it many times. He says, well, she goes, you know, this is about 600 years before Christ, all the way to after Christ, you know. She says, I'm at the point when Christ appeared, and I looked at the back, and it ends about 400 BC. He says, and I'm pretty sure that your Brigham Young guy was a pioneer, and no way he would be in this book. And I said, yeah, maybe. So when we baptized her, it took 2 of us. She was bloated because of the problems with the bomb concussion. It ruined her diaphragm or something. I don't know what happened to her. And she would float. So I tried baptizing her and I couldn't get her. So my companion got in and we tried again and couldn't get her down. And we had to literally have our upper body on top of her and go under the water and force her down to get her down. It was incredible. So that one was special to me because I kind of streetboard got her.